Now, one more very important point when it comes to customer relationships and process within your store or your service department, and that is follow-up. You can call follow-up whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter to me. Some organizations call it tracking lost customers, some call it your customer satisfaction follow-up, some call it callbacks. Whatever you want to call it doesn't matter to me. What I want to get across to you is that somebody in your organization, or if you want to hire it out, that's okay too, but somebody needs to follow up with the customer in some manner. Whether it's email or phone, follow up with that customer to identify how their experience was. But more importantly, to identify if they had a poor experience. I mentioned earlier in a previous segment an oil change I had done, and I got home and I found mud in the rear of my car, and it was what I didn't expect. Now, I also commented that I never went back and I never called back. Well, I never went back because it was a half an hour away from me, and I didn't have time to spend another hour driving plus whatever time they wanted to clean the vehicle. I never called back because it didn't matter to me, I wasn't going back. Now, nobody called me back either. If they had called me back, they might have known a very important piece of information. Here's what I ask in my seminars. What is the problem with a lost customer? And I get all kinds of answers, but usually people dance around the real problem with a lost customer. I hear, you lost money, you lost all the referrals, they're going to tell 10 people, and it's all true. But the bigger, more important point to the problem with a lost customer is this, that you don't know you lost them. And if you don't know you lost a customer, you can't fix why you lost the customer. Lost customers are a huge challenge. I challenge you as a shop, as an organization, to figure out how you can identify lost customers and put in place a process to follow up with those lost customers. If you don't want to follow up with all of your service customers, which you should, okay. But at the very least, put a process in place to identify those customers you have not seen over a specific period of time. I was in an organization in the Midwest recently, and during a break, I walked up to the service counter, and they weren't very busy. They were pretty darn slow, actually. And I observed the service writer doing something. So I struck up a conversation with him, and I said, hey, what are you doing? He says, oh, I'm calling my lost customers. I said, why? Plain dumb. I said, why? He says, because of what I learned. He says, my system has the ability for me to pull a list of customers that haven't been here in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, whatever it is. He says, so in my spare time, I'll run the report, usually once a month, and I'll leave it sitting here on the desk, and when I have nothing else to do, when things get slow, I will pick up the phone, I'll randomly call customers. And he says, oftentimes, I'll get them to come back in. And he says, I'll generate about 20% of my business by calling lost customers, just because they forgot about us, or they forgot they needed an oil change done. He says, but more importantly, what I discover is the reasons that I've lost some of these customers. I never knew that so-and-so was so upset with us. I never knew that when they left here, something happened, because they were like me. They never called back. So following up with your customers is a critical piece to customer satisfaction and growing your business. If you don't know why you lost them, you can't fix what processes are in place in your store now that caused you to lose them. So think about what processes you can put in place in your organization to encourage your associates to follow up with customers and call lost customers however you want to identify them. Maybe they haven't been there for 6 months, maybe you haven't seen them in 2 years. It doesn't matter. You determine for yourself what you consider a lost customer to be and put a process in place to follow up with them. There are many outside companies that are more than happy to help you with it. It'll cost you some money. I suggest you keep it in-house because it helps keep your people in line, recognizing what's really important for your customer base. And it's all about building trust. Keep up the great work.